So, hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know me, my name is Faye, and today we are gonna be doing my second TBR prompt bowl jar. Chooses my TBR for January, February, March, April, May. Oh my god, it's already May. That feels wild. Anyway, we're doing a TBR prompt jar. Again, if you guys haven't seen my April TBR, feel free to go check that one out because that was the first time I used my little TBR prompts and I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. So we're gonna be doing it again today, and I think similarly to last time, we're gonna be pulling out 5 prompts, and then I'm gonna have some other books that are gonna be in my May TBR, even if I can't pull a prompt that fits them, because there's some library books that I have, there's some new releases. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Here's my bowl, and I'm gonna pull out the first prompt. Okay, here we go. Okay, the first prompt that we have is under 300 pages. Actually, I think I have the perfect book for this, and it is my library book. Actually, I have 2. Okay, I'm gonna grab my 2 library books that could fit for this prompt. I'll just quickly check that they're under 300 pages. Yep, both of them are under 200 pages actually. So, my 2 options are number 1, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. I don't know if this book needs any introductions, but it is the book that the Wizard of Oz movie is based on, and I borrowed this book after Wicked came out because I was like, oh, I wanna read Wicked the book, but it feels like I have to start with this one. So I borrowed this book, and then I realized that there's 12 books to this series, so I don't think I'm gonna read the whole series, but I've had this honestly for such a long time. I think I've had this book borrowed from my library for 4 or 5 months now. So this is a strong contender just because I feel like I finally need to read it so that I can return it. And then the next book, the second book, is book 1 in the Murderbot series by Martha Wells. I have a Finnish copy. I don't know if the cover is the same for English copies, but I have a Finnish copy of it. I don't read sci-fi. I really don't read sci-fi a lot, but everyone I know who has read this series has absolutely loved it. So that was why when I saw this while I was at work, I saw this on the shelves, I was like, might as well finally borrow this book. So this one I am intrigued with, also a little bit nervous about, just because like I said, I don't really read sci-fi. And also, the more I think about it, the more I think I might want to read this in English instead of in Finnish. And also for the page count of these, Murderbot is 191 pages and Wizard of Oz is 144 pages. I think I'm gonna go with The Wizard of Oz just because I really need to finish this book. I really need to read it so that I can return it to the library. And also, I think I'm gonna read Murderbot in English instead. So I think I'm gonna actually return this copy of Murderbot and see if my library has it in English. But yeah, first book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. And if you guys don't know the story, from what I've understood, there is a girl called Dorothy and she has a dog called Toto, and a big storm comes up and whisks their house away, and then whisks their house and Dorothy and Toto into the land of Oz, Dorothy goes to the Emerald City in hopes that Oz, the wonderful wizard, can send her home. She meets the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Lion. Yeah, it's just, honestly, I would call this a classic. It's like a children's classic, right? And this was written like in, I think it's, yeah, 1900. So this was published like over 100 years ago. So I would call this a classic. So yeah, a classic children's story, which I actually have no previous experiences with because I haven't even seen the movie. I've only seen Wicked. Okay, let's grab prompt number 2. I'll grab one from the top. Oh no. Okay, we got an easy prompt with a short book. And the next prompt is a book you've been putting off reading. Oh god, okay. Let me see. What book have I been putting off reading? The one that immediately comes to my mind is Anna Karenina. I'm not doing that to myself. I'm just not. Oh, you know what's a good one? I know. Book that came to my mind after the intimidating long ones is Mr. Impossible by Maggie Seaforter. I read Call Down the Hawk when it came out. And that was in like, I don't know, this came out in 2021. So I think Call Down the Hawk must have come out in like 2020 or 2019. So it has been 6 to 5 years since I read the first book. And I absolutely adore the Raven Cycle. But somehow Call Down the Hawk for me was just a little bit confusing, it just didn't hit the same, which is why I've been putting off the second book in the series. Okay, we're gonna go with Mr. Impossible. I might have to reread the first book or at least look up like a recap for it because like I said, it was confusing when I read it the first time and the second book is probably gonna be confusing if I don't remember anything about the first book. But also I've witnessed a friend lose their mind over this trilogy recently. It did get me a little bit intrigued. So, okay. Second book in the TBR. If you guys don't know what the Dreamer trilogy is, this is the continuation for the Raven Cycle. And I don't know how the fuck to explain the Raven Cycle to you guys. There's 4 friends and a girl whose kiss will kill, and the 4 friends are looking for a dead king, and it's lovely found family. And one of the guys is called Ronan Lynch, and he is a dreamer, which means that the things he sees in his dreams come to life. And this trilogy is more about Ronan and what it means to be a dreamer and other dreamers who are in the world and people who are trying to hunt the dreamers because they're dangerous. I don't know. This is the worst recap of a book ever, but I don't even know what's going on in this series, but I adore the Raven Cycle. So hopefully when I continue with the Dreamer trilogy, I will also grow to love that one. Okay, third prompt. I'll take this one. Oh, okay. Next prompt is standalone. That's fun. That gives me a lot to work with. Okay, I have 2 options where actually one of them is a fantasy. First option is the fantasy in question, The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. I have heard actually pretty mixed things for this book, but it is a cozy fantasy and I've been craving more of that ever since I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And this one is a new book. I think it came out this year. Yeah, it came out in 2025. So this is a new book, also a new purchase for me. I bought this in April, I'm pretty sure. And it just looks really, really adorable. The main character is Saphira, who is opening a cafe where baby dragons are welcome. Because in this world, there's dragons, but they're babies and they're kind of like people's pets. But most cafes don't allow baby dragons inside because the baby dragons breathe fire everywhere and destroy the establishments. So Saphira decides to open a cafe where the baby dragons are welcome, but sadly, the baby dragons do indeed destroy stuff, and only selling coffee isn't really keeping Saphira, in business anymore. The baby dragons are destroying more stuff that she can earn money for. So then comes in our other main character and our love interest, Aiden, who has a disobedient baby dragon. Aiden is a gardener, so don't ask me how he has the money for it, but Aiden decides that he is gonna ask Saphira to train his baby dragon, and in exchange, Aiden is gonna pay Saphira enough so that Saphira can keep her cafe. It has Grumpy and Sunshine because it says that Saphira is happy-go-lucky and Aiden is gorgeous but grumpy, and there's gonna be romance. It sounds cute. There's baby dragons, which I'm all about, and it's also relatively short, but I have heard some mixed reviews for this one. Then the next book is actually also in this year's release, and it is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I am a bad romance reader, and I've never read an Ali Hazel book before. I started reading The Love Hypothesis, but I kind of soft DNF'd it, like after 30 or something pages. But this is her first sports romance, which after reading the Maple Hill series, I've been just really into sports romances myself. So this is about two swimmers, which sounds super fun. It is said to be really spicy. It explores a lot of themes about like kinks, and I don't know if there's actually BDSM, but like at least it's a little bit kinky, And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I like a good smut. I like a good smutty book. So this intrigues me just for that. Like I said, the two main characters are both swimmers. Our main female character is Scarlett, and she is a diver, I'm pretty sure. But she is trying to get into med school, and she's recovering from an injury that almost ended her career. And then we have Lucas Blomqvist, which I've heard he is Swedish, and the fact that people on TikTok are like, oh my god, his accent in the audiobook is so sexy, like Swedish accent is so sexy, kills me a little inside. But yeah, our other main character is Lucas, and he is a swim captain, world championship, and all-around aquatics golden boy. And then they're both training for Olympics when a well-guarded secret slips out, and because of that said secret, they start an arrangement. And it was supposed to be just a fling, but feelings grow, I'm assuming. Yeah, oh, this has a blurb from Hannah Grace. Ali Hazelwood is a romance powerhouse. Yeah, so these are my two options. Honestly, I'm really intrigued by both. But since we already have two fantasy books in our TBR, I think I might go with Deep End just so that I can get some romance into the mix. Because a girl needs her romance, I cannot go a full month without reading some romance. So I think our third book for the standalone prompt is gonna be Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, let's go for the fourth prompt. A simplistic prompt of red cover. Let me see, we had pink cover last time, so we're moving to reds. Okay, I have very little red books. I'm just gonna show one of the options because I literally had 2 red books. I'm gonna show 2 books that I found, but I know that I'm not gonna choose the other one. The first option that I'm not gonna choose is The Lost Girls by Sonia Hartle. It is a red book. It's a vampire book, but I want to save this for autumn, you know, when it's Halloween season and it feels logical to read about vampires. So I just wanted to show this option in case someone like spotted the red spine on the shelves and was like, Faye, why didn't you choose that one? I don't want to read this one. But the other red book that I do have, which I guess we're gonna add to our TBR, is The Bookshare by Phaedra Patrick. I've owned this book for forever. It came out in 2020. I think I might have bought it around that time. And I knew nothing about this book before I saw it in the book shop, but I saw the name and it sounded fun, so I picked it up on a whim and then I never read it. I'm pretty sure this is not a romance, it's just a contemporary, so it's fun to get a little bit something new, a little bit something different to the current pile as well. Let me just read you guys the back cover. Liv Green loves losing herself in a good book. Me too, girl. But her everyday reality is less romantic, cleaning houses for people who barely give her the time of day. So when she lands a job housekeeping for her personal hero and mega best-selling author Essie Storling, she can't believe her luck. When Essie dies unexpectedly, Liv is left with a life-changing last wish, to complete Essie's final novel. To do so, change-averse Liv will have to step away from the fictitious worlds in her head and into Essie's shoes. As she begins to write, she uncovers a surprising connection between the two women and a secret that will change Liv's life forever. Really reminds me of Evelyn Hugo, you know, with a megastar dying and a secret that, you know, makes the two women have some sort of connection. But this sounds super fun. I am excited. The Bookshare is a moving reminder that it's never too late to rewrite your own story. I'm excited for this one. I have looked at it on my shelves multiple times and be like, should I pick that up? But then something else just always went over and above this one. So I'm glad that we finally get to pick it. Let's pick one more book. Oh, this one is fun! Okay, the last prompt is blindfold pick. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Okay, I made a mess, and I ended up just picking a bunch of books off of my shelves. You can maybe see that they're looking a little bit more empty. But I am gonna just put all of these books on the floor, like in a messy pile, and blindfold myself and choose a book that way, so that it will be, you know, a little bit more random, so that I can't, you know, go towards my romance shelf, for example, when I'm blindfolded. So, just a second. Okay, I have piles and piles of books. There's so many choices. So let me go get a blindfold. I think I need to take my glasses off for this. My poor eyeliner. Hi lovelies, editing Faye here. I am sorry for the weird cropping of the next clips. When I set up the camera to be like above me, I was not thinking about what I was wearing. And what I'm trying to say with that is that you could see straight into my shirt in the next clips. So to avoid making the video a lot more spicy than I intended, I had to crop my own body out of the clips. But it looks weird and it doesn't really look good, and I'm sorry about that. I really wasn't thinking, and since I was blindfolded, I also could not check the camera to see what I was doing. So I hope it's still okay. I just wanted to give you guys like a little heads up. I cannot see right now, but I think I'm just gonna... If someone's heart is crying out right now, I am so sorry. I'm just trying to mess these books up so that I don't know where everything is. I think that's good. I think that's good. Let me put my head, no, not my head, my hand towards the pile, and should I choose 2? I think 2 would be fun. You know, let's choose 2. I went through all of this effort. So let's do a 6-book TBR. Oh, this is a floppy book. Let's do a 6-book TBR because I want to choose another book for all of the effort I put into this. This one. Okay. I think I'm holding them the right way. My eyes are gonna be closed when I take this off. I want my glasses. Okay. Oh! That's so good! I am so happy about this because both of these are series that I need to continue. Well, there's a mess. I'm gonna deal with that a little bit later. That was so fun. I feel like I should do one TBR just like this, like doing only this, because that was very fun. Okay, let's go back to our usual setup. Okay, so the 2 books that I pulled out blindfolded are Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry and The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. So both of these are series that I really need to finish. Bookshops and Bone Dust is a cozy fantasy. It is the 2nd book in the, I think it's just called the Legends and Lattes series. But I read Legends and Lattes last year and absolutely adored it. So I'm excited to continue with this one. It has kind of an alternative universe kind of situation where in the first book, Viv, our main character, she is an orc and she has worked as like an, I think, mercenary or something like that for years, and she's tired of it. So she settles down in a little town and starts a coffee shop. And then this book is kind of, I'm pretty sure it's an alternative universe. But in this book, Viv, instead of being tired of being a mercenary, she gets hurt. She has to stay in this little city, a little town to heal, and she finds books in this little town. She starts reading in this little town for the first time in her life. And I don't know if she starts a bookshop or if she works at a bookshop or what's the plot of this book, but it is sounding very exciting, and I'm glad to finish this series. Well, not finish, because I think there's a 3rd book coming out later this year, but I'm glad to catch up with it, and this was the floppy book that I picked up. And then the 2nd book is The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore, and this is the 3rd book in the Dream Harbor series, which I have been reading this year and have absolutely loved. So honestly, I would have picked this up very soon, even if I didn't happen to pick it up blindfolded. The Dream Harbor series follows this small town called Dream Harbor, and kinda the same friendship group, at least the first 2 books did, but I think in the 3rd book we have a new main character called Kira. She moved into the town during the 2nd book, so we kind of like very briefly meet her, and this is her book. The love interest in this book is the first book's female main character's brother. So they're kind of intertwined, like all of the characters are a little bit intertwined. But in this book, we have our main character Kira, who moves into Dream Harbor and buys the old Christmas tree farm. And the first line of the summary is that Kira North hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm in a town that's too cute for its own good. And then Bennett, the main male character and the brother of the first book's main character, is on vacation in Dream Harbor. And it seems like the snow traps Bennett at Kira's Christmas tree farm, and they have to spend... Do they have to spend the Christmas together at her farm? Maybe? Anyway, it sounds very fun. You know, it's kind of forced proximity. This also has a Grumpy and Sunshine, maybe. I don't know if Bennett is necessarily a sunshine, but Kira at least is described as Grinch in this book. And I'm just, you know, it feels a little bit wrong to read a Christmas book in May. But I just want to continue the series. I'm not gonna wait until the end of the year to continue the series. Okay, and then I have one more book that I need to add to my May TBR, just because it is a library book and he has some reservations for it, so I cannot renew the loan. I need to return it. And that book is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I read Part of Your World in April, actually, and I did enjoy it. And I've heard a lot of people say that this is their favorite book in the series, so I'm excited to continue. We follow our main character, Brianna, who we actually already met in the first book. She is the best friend of the main character in the first book. Let me just read the back cover for you guys. A novel of terrible first impressions, hilarious second chances, and the joy in finding the perfect match. Dr. Brianna Ortiz's life is seriously flatlining. Her divorce is just about finalized, her brother is running out of time to find a kidney donor, and that promotion she wants? Oh, that's probably going to the new man doctor who's already registering 80-freaking-7 on Brianna's pain in my ass scale. But just when all systems are set to hate, Dr. Jacob Maddox completely flips the game by sending Brianna a letter. It's a really good letter, like the kind that proves that Jacob isn't actually Satan. Worse, he might be this fantastically funny and subversively likable guy who's terrible at first impressions, because suddenly he and Brie are exchanging notes and sharing lunch dates in her sob closet. When Jacob turns out to be the perfect donor for her brother, Brie starts to realize that this quietly sexy new doctor might just be her perfect match too. And this has blurbs or praise from both Beth O'Leary and Casey McQuiston, who I love, and Emily Henry. Oh my god, this is just an all-rounder. Like 3 of my favorite romance authors, or some of my favorite romance authors, are complimenting this book. So I'm really excited for this one as well. So here is our TBR pile for the month of May. Let me go through all of them really quickly in case you guys forgot. So for the first prompt of under 300 pages, we have The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. For the prompt of a book you've been putting off reading, we have Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefwater. For the prompt of a standalone book, we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. For the prompt of red cover, we have The Bookshare by Phaedra Patrick. For the blindfolded pick, we have Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry, as well as The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. And for my library book that I need to finish in May, I have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So there's all of the books for May. I am really excited for this pile. Honestly, I feel like it has a good mix of fantasy and romance. You know, we have fantasy with Oz and Dreamer Trilogy and Bookshops and Bone Dust, and then we have romance with Deep End, Christmas Tree Farm, and Yours Truly, and then we have kind of like general contemporary with The Bookshare. So a very good TBR, if I may say so. I'm excited for all of these books. Once again, definitely not books that I would have picked up if it wasn't for this TBR game, but I think that's just the fun of it and the beauty of it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of these books, if you have read any of them, and also let me know what is your May TBR looking like, because I love hearing about what other people are planning to read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like the video or subscribe to my channel. I post once a week, sometimes more, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. So bye!